Okay, chapter 225, Jujutsu Kaisen review. If you like anime content, subscribe for more. So, elephant in the room, this chapter, we got the domain battle, and a select number of Gojo fanboys are currently on life support, but they should make a full recovery by next week. So, I'm going to do something a little different this time, and I'm going to pick out some parts of the chapter I want to talk about, because most of this chapter is really just the domain battle and the build up to it, so I really don't think a panel-to-panel recap after my spoiler review is even necessary for this one, because not much changed in the translations. So, that being said, Malevolent Shrine versus Unlimited Void, who has the better domain, Sukuna or Gojo? After this chapter, the argument is finally put to rest that Sukuna's open barrier domain is the strongest in the series. And while Gojo and Sukuna's actual territories are equal and canceled their sure hit effects, which was stated by narration, so it's pretty hard to argue with, Sukuna's domain is superior in practice. Though I will say, I think the actual effect of Unlimited Void is superior to the slashes of Malevolent Shrine. If Sukuna's domain had as oppressive of an effect as overloading your brain, I don't think Gojo would have any hope of surviving. The only effect I think is arguably more oppressive than Gojo's Unlimited Void would be Idle Transfiguration, because when that thing goes off and you're caught in that domain, you are actually instantly dead. Unless you are one of the exceptionally few people that has an understanding of their soul. And while I am on the topic of Unlimited Void's effect, I talked to a few fellow YouTubers about this, and nobody was entirely sure up until this chapter if Unlimited Void's sure hit effect was the innate effect of the domain, but now we pretty much get confirmation of that in this chapter, which is a little strange because previously with domains like Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine, we see that things like Dismantle and Cleave are usually part of the technique and they go into the domain and become stronger. But Gojo's Unlimited Void, it has a completely separate effect from blue, red, hollow purple, the other things we've seen. And the only thing I could really compare that to would be Jogo's domain, which was said to have a burning effect that was constantly going on through it, but besides that, I can't think of anything. So it's kind of interesting that his sure hit effect is an ability contained within the domain. And the Gojo and Sukuna domain clash is pretty contentious right now because Gojo not knowing about the barrierless domain, that is just stupid. Especially since we see all the characters, including Hajime and Kashimo, just shit their pants at the idea of a barrierless domain. And the reason I bring up Kashimo is because Kashimo, he is arguably the strongest sorcerer that was reincarnated besides Sukuna. It's a little contentious, but I think Kashimo is implied stronger with his technique, and he'd kind of have to be to fight Sukuna at all in this series. And even though he's sweating in this chapter over Sukuna's barrierless domain and his curse energy efficiency, Kashimo is probably still willing. Personally, I didn't really care for the opinions of most characters in this room about the barrierless domain because most of these guys are fodder. Of course they're going to think a barrierless domain is insane. But Kashimo, he is the oldest person in that room, and him sweating, well, that's real shit. This is the guy who 400 years ago said, man, I'm dying of cancer, maybe I should go home, but that's how a loser thinks. So when he is losing his mind over Sukuna's power, I would take that as a serious statement. And if Gojo did know about the barrierless domain, him just deciding to clash it when he doesn't know if he'll win, when he has the easiest out ever in a teleport, Gojo, that is a highly questionable decision. And if you've been watching me a while, you know that I preach the Gojo teleport as his most overpowered ability, and that's why he always underuses it. Because right here, this is the most sensible teleport of Gojo's life. The moment he starts to see that domain open, either teleport or teleport once your barrier is starting to get shattered. I would expect that Gojo could make an escape route out of his own barrier. But unfortunately, now he is caught in the Malevolent Shrine, and Malevolent Shrine does not stop attacking until it is gone. So let's delve into the various cope arguments surrounding this currently. So can Gojo reverse curse technique his way through this, given current speed feats with RCT from anybody, including Sukuna, who is Gojo's superior in RCT? As of right now, no, he can't. He'd have to break the record. It also seems that many people are forgetting that Malevolent Shrine is not just a dismantle blender, it also incorporates Sukuna's Cleave, and Cleave's whole purpose is to adjust to your curse energy and cut you down in one swoop. And he's getting hit with multiple of these, so unless Cleave is not performing as advertised, it should be a game over. Or Malevolent Shrine just goes away after one slash for some reason, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Are we really saying the Dagon domain lasts longer than the Malevolent Shrine from Ryoma and Sukuna? We can already see in this chapter that Malevolent Shrine is tearing up the city around Gojo and Sukuna, which hopefully they get to fight in a big pancake now. No more running through buildings, the craziness has stopped. This city, Shibuya, got Malevolent Shrined twice. That other pancake, it is still out there. Now, all that being said, how does Gojo get his cheeks out of this? Now, aside from pure headcanon and new abilities, the options we have are Megami or Sukuna lets him go. Now, these are not the only two options. These are the two options I would say have the least ass pull to them. Now, I talked about this a little bit in my video yesterday, but I'm talking about it more here. Because first of all, Megami, he's going to come back. He has to. I don't care if it's just to die for 5 seconds, we're going to see him again. And him lowering the output of a cleave, that's happened before. And while we're on the topic, known tomato paster of humans, Ryoma and Sukuna, tried to cleave Yuji into diced bits. And this wasn't just an, oh, I'll slash you and kill you, Yuji. It was, I'll turn you into little bits, Yuji, that no one will discover. This colony will be your unmarked grave. And Ryoma and Sukuna letting Gojo live, that is completely in character, and honestly, it is the perfect clapback for Gojo blowing his arms off at the start of the fight. And either way, Gojo talked a lot of shit for somebody who accomplished nothing in the first 2 chapters of the actual fight other than getting his neck cut. I preached the Hollow Purple for a long time, and first of all, Hollow Purple, way weaker than everybody thought it was, or at least a large section of the fandom. It's not FTL, it doesn't exist in Erasure, at least it definitely didn't erase Sukuna. But talking shit and telling Sukuna that he is the challenger after you multi-man jump him with a buffed Hollow Purple, it failed to even kill him, and then immediately following that by clashing him and getting punked. That sounds like you're talking out of your ass, Gojo. I'll be honest, I think Gojo's power set unbelievably good. The applications of it are pretty much limitless. But Gege Akutami was not lying when they said that Gojo's problem is Gojo and his personality. This is the same guy that decided to kill a bunch of transfigured humans when he stunned everybody instead of going for the cursed spirit that slapped people to make them. Mahito is in the domain expansion panel. He's right there, Gojo. Just kill him. He's just gonna make more if you don't. You're telling me in the 5 minutes you killed 1,000 transfigured humans, you couldn't pop Jogo's head off like a cork? But of all the chapter cliffhangers I have seen in a while, this is a pretty good one because it has people on edge. And even though many of the Gojo theories are the worst possible theories on the internet, and this chapter thankfully shut down the whole Yuji swap of the Gojo thing, that was my least favorite theory in all of JJK and probably one of the worst theories in JJK. It fails on pretty much every level and it is absolute butt cheeks. I'm not even gonna hide my opinion on this. This theory is so bad, I hope it perishes along with all other theories of similar types. Gojo Satoru gets the most headcanon abilities and the most bullshit surrounding his 6 eyes of anything I have ever read. I have read more ridiculous Gojo theories in the past 3 days than all my time in JJK. They are at an unprecedented level. People were getting mad at the idea of the Dharma Chakra being how he broke Infinity. Yeah, well, saying that Infinity was broken for years was heresy of the highest fucking order. Seriously, guys, don't worry. Gojo is going to be okay. Well, he'll be okay from this. I don't know about the future, but this is a cliffhanger. He's obviously going to make it out of it somehow. He might get an awakening. He might be on the back foot. He might even create a new domain, though that would be a little goofy. Either way, Yorzu is not getting a longer fight with Sukuna than Gojo does, so I really wouldn't worry about Gojo's fate right now. And Gojo's death flags may be through the roof, but the thing is, Gojo just doesn't have a lot to do in JJK besides beat ass, and even if he doesn't beat Sukuna, he's not going to die from one Malevolent Shrine 2 chapters in, and I really wouldn't be surprised if we saw 2 domain expansion clashes in this fight. They have so many more things to use in this fight that we haven't seen yet. Sukuna definitely more than Gojo, but Gojo has still not used all of his abilities to their max potential. But that's just my opinion, and now I want to hear yours. What do you think of this chapter, and are you hyped for next week? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more. And as always, thanks for watching.